King's Speech. Well, I have to confess I didn't really want to go because as a young boy I remember the King, and I remember my parents, especially my father, talking about the fact that they had this man on the throne who couldn't speak properly, and they thought that was absolutely awful. And I myself developed an impediment in my speech around the age of 7 or 8, and there was nothing done about it because it wasn't extreme, but it was a nuisance. And later in school, the awful things were when you were asked to stand up in class and say something, and most embarrassing of all, it was very difficult to say my own name, which was Weatherhog. I had big problems with that, and so I didn't really want to go. But nevertheless, I went, and I enjoyed the theme of the film and the way in which the director, Tom Cooper, whom I thought did an absolutely excellent job, and portrayed how this man had overcome his impediment, and how, as I remember it, how he stood up for the British ethic in times of real adversity in overcoming it. And so, of course, it made me review my own experience. And I can remember as a middle-aged teenager going to night school. It's strange, isn't it? The lady's name came back to me. It was a Miss Musprat, who was what we would call today an actor lovey. And we had through lots of exercises, and I got to know some of Hamlet quite well. But unfortunately, the condition was not really dealt with. And so I endured going through life having difficulty saying lily, Weatherhog, other things as well. And into the army, in national service, that used to appear under moments of stress, especially fatigue. And I can't remember being teased over it, but it was there all the time. Because I was brought up in Christian Science, an indifferent Sunday school student, I might add, and went my own way for a while, but came back to it and found some source of strength in it, and applied it in instances through the army. There were incidents there of healing. And I became a member of my church, and it was inevitable that I would be elected as first reader. So I still hadn't faced up to this problem. I decided this time to go on another course, this time to Bonham School of Dramatic Art. We had an absolutely excellent teacher, and she relaxed us, gave us exercises, told us how to read. Hers was the most valuable because the lessons that she taught me I've used in reading the Bible and Science and Health, the key to the scriptures, and people have always said how much they've enjoyed the reading. And still there were occasional demands. Leviticus always seemed to be a problem, and then sometimes when you had to say Revelation was also a problem too. And we managed to disguise them. I mean, that's the only way you can do it. Now we're talking about a man in his 30s who still has this sort of underlying thing, and it used to be it would not appear only under moments of stress or turmoil. That was when it would appear. When did it disappear? Well, I had to think very hard because as my understanding of Christian Science enlarged itself over that period of time, I suppose I became more confident in myself. Well, so much so that when I was 40, I moved from engineering into day school, and as a man from industry who had the right qualifications, and came into teaching as a graduate. I had a difficult class, and they were all boys, and some of the names, we were going through a very stressful time at the time, and some of the names I couldn't say, which caused them much amusement. I can remember being asked if I'd like to do a school assembly at this school, and that was out of the question. First, what do I say? And there was this problem. Well, I changed schools twice, I think. But I was still studying Christian Science. I was still being reader in my church. And I noticed that as I became more assured the impediment just carefully slid away. And I cannot put my finger on the point when it stopped, because it was such a natural occurrence for me. And so for that, I'm very, very grateful. As they said in a program about Logan, one of his students said he felt as though he'd been released from prison, and I have to say it was the same. And interestingly, in school, I felt able to take school assemblies without notes and involve the class without hesitation or fear, and so it turned out well in the end.